My best friend attacked me after his wife made false accusations about our affair. It happened that evening when the world seemed to turn upside down. I was sitting in my office, going through old photos, when a message from Sasha came in. He had been my best friend since childhood, and his family had become like my own. We had been through a lot together, joys, sorrows, successes, and failures. But at that moment, I had no idea that I would soon find myself at the center of a real drama. Chapter 1, the beginning of the end. Sasha and his wife, Katya, always seemed like the perfect couple. They had been together for several years and had a little daughter. I always supported them and tried to be a reliable friend. But lately, I had noticed that tensions were starting to rise between them. Katya often complained about Sasha, saying that he spent too much time with friends and didn't pay enough attention to her. I tried to help, but I didn't know how. Sasha had always been stubborn and didn't like discussing his problems. One day, when we were fishing together, he confessed that he felt overwhelmed. He didn't know how to fix the situation, and it worried me. A few days later, I received a message from Katya. She wrote that she wanted to meet. I didn't know what to think, but agreed. We met at a cafe, and she looked upset. I don't know how to say this, she began, but I suspect that Sasha is cheating on me. I was in shock. This was completely unexpected. I didn't know what to say. I knew that Sasha wasn't that kind of person, but how could I explain that to Katya? She continued to say that she had suspicions, and that she had seen him spending time with another woman. You don't know who it is? She asked, looking at me hopefully. I couldn't lie. I knew that Sasha wasn't cheating, but I didn't know how to explain it. I tried to calm Katya down, but she was relentless. I want you to be honest with me. If you know something, tell me. I shook my head. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to betray my friend, but I also couldn't stand to see his wife suffer. Chapter 2, False Accusations. A few days later, I met with Sasha again. He looked tired and tense. I didn't know how to start the conversation, but eventually, I decided to just say it. Sasha, Katya says you're cheating on her, I said, trying to stay calm. He looked up sharply, staring at me in disbelief. What? That's absurd. I would never hurt her. I felt his anger rising. He stood up and started pacing the room, clearly not knowing how to handle the situation. I understand that it sounds strange, but she really thinks that. I continued. She said she saw you with another woman. Sasha stopped and looked at me with rage. Who? I don't know what she's talking about. I work all day. I tried to calm him down, but he was beside himself. I knew he needed time to cool off, so I left him alone. The next day, I received a message from Katya. She wrote that Sasha hadn't come home and that she felt everything was falling apart. I realized that this could lead to serious consequences. I decided to talk to Sasha again. I found him at a bar, sitting alone, nursing a beer. Sasha, we need to talk, I said, sitting next to him. He looked at me with a tired expression. About what? About Katya. You need to talk to her. This could destroy your family. He looked at me with distress. You don't understand. She believes her suspicions more than she believes in me. I realized that the situation was heating up. Sasha was on edge, and I didn't know how to calm him down. Eventually, he stood up and punched the wall. Why doesn't she believe me? I haven't cheated on her. I was in shock. I had never seen Sasha like this. He had always been calm and composed. I tried to calm him down, but he was out of control. Sasha, let's just talk to her. Try to explain everything calmly. He looked at me with hatred. You don't understand. She thinks I'm a traitor. At that moment, I realized that the situation had spiraled out of control. I didn't know how to help my friend, and it scared me. Chapter 3, The Conflict. The next day, I received a call from Sasha. He was furious and demanded that I come over. I didn't know what to expect, but I felt that it could be serious. When I arrived, he was already waiting for me at the door. His face was twisted with anger. "You!" he shouted, pointing at me. "You ruined everything." I was shocked. "Sasha, calm down. I was just trying to help." He stepped closer to me, and I felt his anger boiling over. "You don't understand. You were with her when I wasn't around. You could have told her that I wasn't cheating." I tried to explain that I couldn't betray him, but he wasn't listening. Suddenly, he shoved me, and I fell to the floor. "You traitor!" he yelled, raising his hand to hit me. I tried to defend myself, but he was too strong. I couldn't believe my best friend was attacking me. I tried to calm him down, but he was out of his mind. When he finally stopped, I was in shock. I had never thought this could happen. I got up, rubbing my shoulder, and looked at him. "Sasha, you don't understand what you're doing. This isn't me, it's Katya." He stopped and looked at me, as if realizing what he had done. I didn't mean to," he said, his voice trembling. I felt anger and resentment rising within me. I couldn't believe he could do this. "You attacked me, Sasha. You can't just ruin everything like this." He lowered his head, and I saw that he was starting to realize what had happened. I didn't know how to proceed. I wanted to help my friend, but he was in despair. Chapter 4. The attack. A few days later, I decided I needed to talk to Katya. I understood that she was also suffering from this situation. I met with her and told her about what had happened between Sasha and me. She looked shocked. "I didn't want this to happen," she said, looking at me with sadness. I just couldn't believe that he wasn't cheating on me. I tried to explain to her that Sasha really wasn't cheating and that it was all a misunderstanding. "You need to talk to him," I said. "He needs you." She sighed and nodded. "I will try, but I need time to think about everything." I understood that it wouldn't be easy, but I hoped they could work things out. I left with hope that they could find a common understanding. A few days later, I received a message from Sasha. He wrote that he wanted to meet. I was glad that he had decided to talk. When I arrived, he looked calmer. "I apologized to Katya," he said, looking at me. "She said she wants to give us a chance." I felt hope ignite within me. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but they could try. "I'm happy for you," I said, trying to support him. "You can get through this." Sasha nodded, and I saw that he was beginning to understand the gravity of his actions. Chapter 5. Reconciliation. A few weeks later, I met with Sasha and Katya again. They looked happier than before. I was glad to see that they had managed to overcome their difficulties. "Thank you for helping me," Sasha said, looking at me with gratitude. "I don't know what I would have done without you." I smiled, feeling that their family was back on the right track. "The most important thing is your love and trust in each other," I said. "You can handle any difficulties." Katya nodded and added, "I realize that sometimes we can be mistaken in our suspicions. The key is communication." I was glad that they had managed to find common ground and restore their relationship. I understood that this had been a difficult path, but they had managed to overcome all obstacles. In the end, I realized that true friendship is not just about joy but also about the challenges we overcome together. And I was happy that I could help my friends in their time of need.